Welcome to Brothers and Booze with Lauren Yee this week. How are y'all doing?
So good. Happy to be here.
So I know that we're probably going to get tagged for that video because of the music, but I thought it was hilarious. But Doug, it also plays into what Jerry Richard, our friend, always says is like he always believes that the videos that we show are like staged. So I think that one was I'm gonna play without the music so we don't really get tagged, but like you know, it's a Halloween theme. It's pretty funny, but the dude is just standing there waiting for it, like, or no, I don't know. What do y'all got?
Was he like supposed to be a security guard or something at like a 7-Eleven? Like what?
He was very dressed up.
Yeah,
like in like a suit.
That's like a convenience store, yes,
or like a corner store or something. And then there's just he's got a name tag, but it feels like it was like a middle school play that has been blocked, and people are just like waiting for their turn to do their part.
Right. To get a pie in the face, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Naturally.
Okay. Well, but what else is natural? I love it, Lauren. You're hooking me up with the segues. Second, what else is natural is us having a beverage on a Friday night. What do y'all guys got? Ladies first, of course.
Okay. I'm having a beverage that I've never had before. I poured it already because I was anxious. But it is from Ghost Town Brewing. Let's see if I can do the correct things. This way. It's called Jove's Fire. Oh my God. And it is conditioned on persimmons. It's a wild ale. I feel like because I'm not creeping up on Casey's spot, but I was like, let me represent with a little bit of tartness here.
Okay.
So I went with that. I've poured it. It's lovely. It's not overly sour. It's definitely more tart than sour. Very refreshing. It's weirdly 70. It was like 70 here today. So I'm like a little warm. So it's very lovely.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, Doug, what's going on?
I'm starting with a bottle, which I've been getting mostly cans lately, but I'm also starting on the sort of sour end with a dark berry sour limited release from Flying Dog that I found. This is an ale made with blueberries, vanilla, lactose, and raspberry natural flavors. So I know I said on the show before, raspberry is a little bit wonky for me because it's usually such a strong flavor, but doesn't smell sour and nose, smell more tart, which is what I prefer. But look at that color.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh, that's red, like
Raspberry.
Sorrel. Like
Maybe,
Sorrel, right?
Those segues.
Right. And connections and all that synergy going on. Yeah.
Oh man, that is nice and tart. Nice and tart. Not sour, tart. Really, really like it. Barely get any of the lactose though. It's all fruit and tart. So I was a little surprised I'd get not much of the vanilla, but definitely the fruit notes are way forward. And this is a super beer to have in the summer. A little late in the season for it, but I'm here for it.
Is it as red as it appears?
Yeah. Like it's actually redder in person than it is on the camera because I have a shitty webcam camera. But
okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what do you got, Greg?
I got a whole bunch of theme beers, Doug. I did a theme this time.
What?
All of my brewers are black brewers this week. Yeah, boy. Ooh. So y'all started off with some sour, so I'm gonna keep that going here with the Calm Before the Storm.
Oh, look at that label.
Doug, another Barrel and Flow beer. This is a sour ale with vanilla, peaches, and coconut. Right.
I'm intrigued.
The color is beautiful.
Lovely. Look at that. Yeah.
So I haven't really messed with sours in a long.
It's been a while. It's been a while on the show.
Wow. Okay.
Good. was like, you interrupted yourself.
Okay, so the tardiness hits you immediately, almost like a Sour Patch Kid. It's really kind of very, very tardy. And then the smooth vanilla comes in, and then the peaches, and I'm not getting any coconut. And for me, that's good because I'm not a coconut-y beer person. And when I am, I want it subtle. I don't want it like a coconut bomb. Some people love the coconut bombs. This is refreshing, fun. It'd be a great share. As far as like having people to share. I'm not sure if it's going to be one that I finish. And that's not a negative, but Doug, we talked about how sometimes sours are just too much. Even when they're good, sometimes it's just too much to drink a whole one, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does. And what was it? Was that a collaboration beer or no?
Yeah. And so from Jay Wakefield and War Cloud Brewing.
Well, Jay Wakefield, I don't believe is black owned, but I believe War Cloud is.
War Cloud is absolutely, and this
Jay
is
stuff is hard to get.
Yeah, and this is a barrel and flow, so I knew somebody in there got to be black. But anyway, no, I don't know. Now it's funny because I said that I may not drink it all. Now, as you see, I'm pouring the last. So
real committed. Right quickly.
Yeah, famous last words, as I like to say. You know what I mean? Like now that I spoke it, now I'm gonna drink the whole thing. But no, this is a fun, nice one. So
sounds very layered, which I'm into, where you can like actually taste what it says.
Yeah, and you know what? I poured this one. So Daniel Fisher here says Jay Wakefield is nerd owned.
Sounds great.
Yes, Lauren, layered, and now it's even warmed up a little. I'm getting the coconut on the end. Starting to, but you have to almost look for it. If it wasn't on the can, it'd be hard for me to say, hey, I feel coconut or I see coconut, one of those things. But when it's on the can, I look for that. I want my coconut. I want it all. Like if it says you're giving me coconut, I want to taste it, right? Right. So speaking of something that we all want to taste, but I don't think we have, Doug.
Nope.
That's our segue to our fabulous guest we have tonight.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to I talked to our guest a couple of times, a handful of times. I met him through writing, through Good Men Project, and a couple other extraneous writing things back in the day. Now, I've written for the Good Men Project in 6 or 7 years. But what's really got me interested in trying to book him was his new liqueur that he's created and is distilling is Sorrel. I'm going to say Sorrel. It might be Sorrel. I forgot to ask him how to pronounce it. So, but this is a guy that I really admire. He's a very, very big activist. I love seeing what he says about standing up for communities, and he's just an extraordinary, interesting man. So,
well, new to us, because during the research, it seems like he's been on this for a bunch of years, working on this. So it's almost like I just want everybody to know that like I think he's been started. He'll tell us. I think he started in 2010 or something. So we're over a decade of him working. I was gonna say another word that's not appropriate actually, but busting his ass to bring this to fruition and to bring this to the masses.
Yeah.
So with that being said, right, Doug, we should just
bring him on.
We're really awkward with our introductions. We got to work on that shit.
Yeah, not so great.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Jackie.
Hello.
How y'all feel?
Yeah, how are you, man?
Yo, I'm good. It's a Friday night. I'm done for the week, except for this. We're gonna have a good time. I have a little jam poured. It's a good night.
Nice. What is in your glass again? You go. Oh, yes. Now, did I pronounce it? I said Sorrel. How is it pronounced?
This is a good question. If you have this in the Caribbean, it's pronounced Sorrel, Sorrel. My version is pronounced Sorrel because I have a speech impediment and I can't pronounce R's and L's correctly. So for me, trying to say sorrel is like trying to say rural or terroir. It's just an awful word.
Yeah.
But I had 8 years of enunciation class in public school. And here's one of the things I learned. Words that end in a down sound are sad. Sorrel is a sad word. Sorrel is happy, and I can pronounce it. So it's literally called Sorrel. Well, I don't sound like a dumbass every time I say the name.
Smart.
Also, someone pointed out to me today that Sorrel sounds like Kal-El or Jor-El. So I'm starting to think that Sorrel is just Superman's black cousin from South Krypton.
Yeah.
South Krypton.
Sorrel. Kal-El. Jor-El.
Oh,
Balance.
my.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen Doug laugh this hard on this stream for a long ass time.
Well, that just threw me like way off track. I wasn't expecting it to go there. That was just great.
So, do you have a question, Doug, or do we need to go to Lauren?
Yeah, go to Lauren. Give me a minute to recompose myself, please.
What's up, Lauren? You got a question for you got a question for Jackie?
I mean, yeah, I hate to have it be so general, but I kind of want to know like what's the mini bio version, because I feel like it seems like you were all up in the like alcohol world even before Sorrel. And yeah, like kind of like how did you end up there, and how did you make the jump to where your lovely self is now?
Short version is I had a cancer scare. Yeah, 11 years ago, my doctor found a tumor the size of a golf ball inside my spine. He said, "You are probably going to die. And if you live, you're probably going to be paralyzed. You should organize your paperwork." I lived.
Congratulations.
But that shit will adjust your perspective. I can curse, right?
Yep. All you like.
Yo, that will adjust your perspective.
Yeah.
Given the new outlook, I had 25 years invested in corporate America. I thought to myself, what do I really want to do with my life? And the thing I wanted to do more than anything else in the world was day drink. I want to be around cool people in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, talking about stuff that matters over good food and good alcohol. And I wanted to monetize it. And when I couldn't figure out who was going to pay me, who was going to, finance this lifestyle, I thought to myself, I know what I'll do. I'll launch a liquor brand. How hard could it be? Turns out, launching a liquor brand is difficult. So I'll tell you two asterisks to the story. The first asterisk is the basic beverage that became Sorrel has been around for 500 years. I'm the first person to create a shelf-stable version of it. Every version before this, you could put it in the fridge and it'll last maybe 2 weeks. This you can open, close, come back in a year. It's the same. So that's asterisk one. And for the record, I'm not a food chemist. I'm just very, very, very persistent. It took 623 failures before I got the version that is shelf-stable. So, wow. 624 is a meaningful number for me. The other footnote that I'll say is when I got my license to make liquor in 2012, I was the only Black person in America with a license to make liquor. As far as we can tell, I'm the first Black person post-Prohibition to have a license to make liquor. And we don't really have good records before Prohibition for obvious reasons. And I'd say both of those are footnotes to the story because the story's been going on for centuries. This isn't really my story. I'm the custodian of the story for this generation. The story was here before me. If I do this right, the story goes on after me. But I get to participate in this, and it's a story of perseverance in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's 500 years of culture that could not be erased or denied.
Guys said you could have follow. Let me jump in here quick because it's really pertinent to what he said, and then I will disappear. Jackie, can you just explain to people why, or I'm sorry, can you explain to people how hard and why it's important that you were the only Black person who owned a distillery? Why is that important, and why is it difficult for Black people to enter this area? Because clearly, if it were easy, many of us would have done it before. So I don't think people understand the hardship that it is.
So it's important because Black people have had the skill of distillation literally for thousands of years. If it wasn't for the Crusades learning distillation from invasions from the Moors, they'd still be drinking crappy ale. I mean, literally, distillation was an invention of people that look like me. And even if you get to this country, it's now been proven that a person who was born enslaved taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. So we've had this knowledge again for just forever.
Ever. Right.
The ability to monetize it is something we were restricted from doing in this country for obvious reasons. It is incredibly prohibitive to try to get a license to make liquor. And that's by design. It is systemic. I have a particular gift in that I don't know what I can't do. So I just go do things. I didn't know at the time that no Black people had the license. I didn't know how hard it was. So I went and did it. And here we are.
Beautiful. Doug?
All right. So I believe you've commented multiple times on social media about the idea of it being Caribbean and the Caribbean root of it. And that was kind of how I gathered that was kind of the impetus, was you using that from your heritage. And that was, I'm assuming that was of very big importance to you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. When I knew I was going to do a beverage, I knew it was not going to be a gin, a whiskey, a vodka, tequila, or rum. Those things exist in the world already. No one needed me to add to that incredible landscape of delicious beverages that are already there. But it never made sense to me that this thing that I grew up loving and that I made for friends and family for years in my own kitchen, no one had ever tried to bottle it before. So to be clear, if it wasn't Sorrel, it would have been nothing. I had no desire to try to compete with existing things. This is an interesting and a complex enough flavor for it to stand on its own. And there's no reason in my mind why it shouldn't be part of the culinary firmament. It just needed a custodian, a steward for this generation to help bring it out to the world. And that is the role that I hope to play.
Can I know we can all go look it up right now, but it's your platform. What makes up Sorrel? Well, you have Sorrel, but it also stems from the original recipe from your experience. Like, what is it, if you will?
So, if you went back 500 years to West Africa, hibiscus flowers were known curative. They're a natural antimicrobial. They're full of antioxidants. They're natural antifungal. They're great for kidney health. They're a natural diuretic. It's a natural aphrodisiac. And the West Africans would make a tea of this, and it was ceremonial for them. The transatlantic slave trade starts, and they're literally packing bodies in ships alongside the spices that they're also stealing from the continent. And that ends up in the Caribbean because the Caribbean was where the ports of trade were. So this flower literally takes root in the Caribbean islands, imported from Africa. But the knowledge of what the flower can do has traveled alongside with the human beings that used it before. So Caribbean families start to do this. And every island does it slightly differently based on where they fell on the spice route. For example, if you were high up in the spice route like Jamaica, you would definitely get ginger. Ginger and cardamom and allspice and rum. If you were deeper in the spice route like Trinidad and Tobago, you might get East Asian influences like nutmeg and clove and cinnamon. So there's never been a definitive version of this. There weren't written recipes for this because our stories were all oral traditions. No one ever wrote down how much of any ingredient you're supposed to put in. People just put stuff in until the ancestors said stop. So this is the first time that there's ever been a specific version of this that is attempting to be definitive. Every Caribbean family thinks to make the best version. Again, I'm willing to put mine against anyone else's in competition. We scored 95 points in the Ultimate Sprints competition. If anyone out there hearing this thinks they've got a better version than mine, I'll meet you out in international competition. We can see who's his best. I already know. So in Sorrel, there's hibiscus, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, certified organic grain alcohol, cane sugar. That's it. No additives, no preservatives, no colorants, no glycerin. That's it. It's botanicals and alcohol.
Well, how does it maintain itself for that long then? Is it just the mixture of things? Or is that a trade secret that we can't know?
No, like the 625th success.
It is not a trade secret at all. The short version is every version prior to mine used rum as the base spirit. And, like I was raised with rum. My parents came from Barbados. Like if you have a toothache and you're your baby, they put rum on your gums. Rum was in everything, but rum has its own dissolved sugar, so it has its own dissolved particulate. Rum does not bond on a molecular level to the particulate in the base mix. So you never actually form complex polysaccharides. My version was the first to ever use, again, neutral grain at medicinal strength. So there's literally a chemical reaction that happens where the alcohol bonds to the particulate matter and forms pectins. We remove the pectins. Everything that's left is crystal clear and shelf stable and delicious.
See, I don't understand all the chemistry behind it. I love it. I just don't know it. So I was just curious how you made it so it could be stable like that. I think that's freaking awesome.
Also, while you're describing all the things, I was like, my mouth was literally watering. I nothing to do with the beverage that I'm having right now. I was like, I would like some of that. That sounds amazing.
So I will describe this for you, Lauren.
Please.
So
listening.
When you nose it, there's going to be a big punch of clove. But if you can you roll your tongue like a tube? This is a thing. Not everyone can do this. It's a genetic thing. If you were to roll your tongue like a tube and taste it like a wine, the clove vanishes on the palate and you get big, juicy fruit notes. That's the hibiscus.
Okay.
And then you'll get a slight burn of cinnamon on the side. And then the finish is woody. That's the nutmeg. It's a dry finish. The sugar's pulled way back. And you pretty much don't taste alcohol because the ginger is registering on the same exact frequency as the alcohol. So you never taste booze. You just feel booze.
Danger.
That is dangerous, right?
But awesome.
People tend to drink Sorrel the way you would drink a bottle of wine. So I always say this. It's going to be on shelves next to beverages like Saint Germain, Aperol, Campari. And those are great beverages. But the biggest Aperol, Saint Germain, Campari fan is not going to drink a bottle in a weekend. People will drink a bottle of Sorrel in one sitting.
Yeah. That, if you have anything like Campari, I don't know, Lauren, if you've ever had cocktails with that thing, like Campari specifically, I tried that in a drink and I was like, who the hell drinks this? Like for me, I just really don't like Campari. I don't like the flavor of it. But this sounds lovely. It has all the kind of flavors I want. Now I want a bottle of it like sitting with me right now.
Can I follow up your tasting description and drinking process?
Please.
With two things before I forget. One is so I think noticing how you're drinking it, not chilled, room temperature.
Great question. If you drink it cold, the colder you drink it, it gets fruitier and more floral. If you drink it warm, the spice notes come out and then it's spicy and nutty. So you can literally drink this hot or cold.
Perfect for year-round seasonal beveraging.
Right now, because it's autumn, we're doing mostly stirred cocktails, old fashions, Manhattans, that kind of thing. When it gets really cold, we'll do toddies. In the spring, we do agave-based cocktails and gin-based cocktails. In the summer, we do spritzes. So summer, winter, fall, spring, summer, Sorrel is good all year round.
Is this sold in cases? All of those sound great.
It's sold in pallets.
Why would you tell me this?
I don't think if I had a pallet show up at my house, I think my wife would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So here's a true story, Doug. A few years ago, I'm at a Sorrel tasting at one of the stores in Manhattan. This guy walks in with his girlfriend. I pour him 2 fingers, and I pour his girlfriend 2 fingers. He looks at the cups and gets mad at me. He goes, "Why did she get more than I got?" I said, "Sir, in the Caribbean, this is a non-aphrodisiac. You're welcome." So I'm just saying, maybe people wouldn't be mad if you had a bottle or 2 in the house.
Get the palate. It's fine, Doug.
You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Okay, and then I do have one other follow-up because you talked about wine.
Please.
And like because the tongue shape thing, it's a alcohol though. Like it doesn't need to like aerate, breathe, change anything, right? It's just it drinks very easily like wine, but it's like ready to go however you want to mix it or drink straight.
Absolutely. In the Caribbean, this is always consumed straight over ice. What I recommend people try is with spritz, a little seltzer, and maybe a slice of lime. But again, while it's a terrific component, there's no glycerin in this. A lot of liqueurs, for some reason, people think there should be syrupy and cloying. This is nothing like that. This is light and refreshing, and it's literally made from botanicals, so you can taste the life in this. It tastes alive.
You're great at sales. I want it.
Yeah, I think we're all in on that, right? Hey, Jackie. So our friend Daniel here, who lives in New York City, was actually thinking about: is it available to be snagged now in New York City?
Yes. Go to Wine Warehouse. Tell them I sent you.
There you go.
I'm actually doing a tasting in Red Hook on Sunday. If you want a signed bottle.
Greg, you're muted.
While we're here, Jackie, so where else can we get it? How do we get it? Whoever's watching, we got people all over the states. Lauren is way out west. Where are we at with all that?
So the best place to get it right now is Reserve Bar. I want to say that we're in about a dozen holiday gift guides coming up this year.
Ooh.
Including being nominated for Best Spirit Brand of the Year by Wine Enthusiast. So
awesome.
Grab this, grab it up fast because it's going to go.
Okay.
We're in Wine Enthusiast, Bon Appetit, Epicurious, The New Yorker, Martha Stewart, a whole
Savor yet?
Not Savor.
Okay.
Now I know I got to hit somebody up there.
Yeah, Tavor. Yeah. So then this is the link right here: reserve bar /product /Sorrel/liquor, and you will when you show up there, it'll look like this. So that's where we get it, y'all. And I don't know. Look at this. All these states here. It looks like it's available. So yeah, we need to. That's what it looks like. We are. Sorry, Jackie. I'm gonna overlay you a little bit here, but it looks like this too. Out in the wild, that's what it looks like. So yeah, anything else, Jackie? Real quick while we're on it about how to get it, where to get it, any more notes that we need to cover?
We only launched a few states this year because most distributors don't want to pick up products during OND. But we are in New York, we're in DC, we're in Kentucky, but we're planning on being in 35 states, but in the next year. So if we're not to you yet, we will be. We're working on it. The beautiful thing about our partnership with Uncle Nearest is we're literally following in their footsteps. So everywhere Uncle Nearest is, we will be eventually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man. Woo.
I don't know if we want to do we want to talk about Uncle Nearest while we're here real quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just gonna tee you up and I'm going to disappear like the night. So yeah, you want to talk about Uncle Nearest? For those people who watch this stream should be a little bit familiar with Uncle Nearest. We've talked about it a few times, Doug, but not extensively. We would love to have her on this stream to talk about it. But Jackie, while you're here, you could talk about it because you and them have been something. There's a synergy going on and something. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I'm just going to set you up and roll.
So the first thing I got to tell you about Fawn Weaver is no matter what you read about her in her press, she's actually a better human than that. She's a phenomenal person. Like, just as a person, she's amazing. But Uncle Nearest is based on the recipe of Nearest Green, who was the enslaved African who taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. And the amazing part about the story is this wasn't hidden. This was known in Lynchburg. Everyone knew because his relatives still lived there. His relatives still worked for the plant. But for some reason, that story just never got out to the world. A few years ago, the story hits the New York Times. Fawn discovers the story. The short version is she decides she's going to make it her life's work to bring this man's legacy to the front. Uncle Nearest quickly became the fastest selling whiskey in the history of this country. They've literally won every award for whiskey that you can win. And they have won more awards for whiskey than any other brand the last 3 years in a row. So it's not just delicious. It is absolute proof that people that look like me, that women, that marginalized people can run their own successful companies. It is very much true that liquor isn't. There's the old boys network. Fawn Weaver has pretty much destroyed the idea that you need to have an old white man at the helm in order to have a successful liquor brand. That's gone. I was in the process of bringing Sorrel back to market. I took a 5-year pause, involuntary, and I was working with an investment group who tried to flip the script on me when we were at the very end of it. And so I reached out to Fawn. Again, we know each other from the speaking circuit. And I said, Fawn, I've hit a stumbling block with my investment group. Can you offer any guidance? Pretty much the next day, she was like, I got you. I got you. And we have been working together ever since. And the amazing part about relaunching a brand, God bless my team. We did 18 months worth of work in the last 6 months. It's been astounding how fast things have gone. And somehow it's still not fast enough. Life moves at the speed of Fawn, and Fawn is not playing around.
Love that.
And, yeah, that's great. So with that, I'm going to do a very bad segue and open my second beer. So I picked up I'm a big fan of Golden Monkey from Victory. This is their Merry Monkey, which is their Christmas version. Yes, folks,
Already?
Christmas beers are coming, folks. I'm warning you. Jackie's over there launching another dram of the Sorrel. All right, so this one is it's Belgian style. Their Belgian style is just kind of a Belgian golden ale, but this one is Belgian golden ale with cranberry, orange peel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So right in the Christmas style. You get the nutmeg there, cinnamon too. Not so much the orange peel, but that's usually a smaller flavor. Using Greg's favorite glass. But this looks a lot darker than what Golden Monkey normally looks like. Golden Monkey is golden ale, so it's usually, although it's got almost the same sort of carbonation thing going on.
Cheers.
Cheers to that too. Oh, so yeah, very much the cinnamon and nutmeg, and the orange peel is nice in there too. Not overly done, but I think that's because the Belgian Golden Ale will kind of tamper that down a little bit because it's such a easy flavor to work with. So this is pretty good. I'm Christmas ales. I'm a little wonky on, except for Mad Elf. I've talked many times about my love of that beer, but this is a lot better than what I was in. I was a little worried because Gold Monkey's so good. I was afraid they're going to tamper with it and it'd be messy. Hey, Greg popped in. I mentioned Matt Elf and Greg pops in. Thanks, man.
Right. Real quick, let me jump in here before we get back to another question for Jackie. Again, Doug used to go through I think we stopped a little bit, but Doug used to have themed beers. So I'm loving that Jackie's here, and I'm loving the vibe from the Caribbean tip here. So I'm gonna pull out Caribbean Amphibian.
Ooh.
Caribbean Amphibian. This is a Caribbean double milk stout. Now, I am glad that we got Jackie here because I'm not sure what Caribbean themed actually means. Like, what does it mean? So it says here, inspired by the sweeter stouts from the local islands, Caribbean Amphibian is a bottom fermented beer with a rich, clean malt flavor. A milk sugar addition further contributes to the full body and mouthfeel of this beer, letting the roasted malt character really shine. This is from Black Frog, which is a black brewery in northern Ohio, I believe Toledo. It was on my I was going to hit there on the way to Barrel and Flow, but I didn't make Barrel and Flow. Jackie, are you familiar with Barrel and Flow?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Greg,
well, that's
your
wonderful
platform, man.
Wow. This is so Doug, this is a milk stout. Nice roasted. I'm not getting really much milk as far as the lactose goes. A nice sipper. Again, I don't know what makes it Caribbean, but what I think it is that it's light, Doug. It's not stouts are kind of thick sometimes, and we kind of look for that in a stout, but this feels like one that you could just be sipping out in the Caribbean, on the beach, feet up. It drinks a lot like a porter, but a little bit thicker, but roasty as all hell, and that's a good thing for me. Some people don't like it. I love the roast.
I don't know what makes the Caribbean, but I heard bottom, thicker, and full bodied, and I'm in.
Yes, sir. So, Jackie, Barrel and Flow, I will send you the information. It is the only, I'm sure not about only, actually. It's one of the only black brewers get-togethers festivals. It's only black brewers, and then what they do is they make collaborations. And you need to look that up because you need to make it. It's in Pittsburgh every year.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
All right, look at that. Doug, I don't think we've ever had anybody answer their phone on the stream.
Maybe we
the door right now. Hold on.
Very important.
Dang.
So y'all will dig this. I have a Facebook friend I've never met who posted, "I'm hungry. Someone send me a pizza." She's in Chicago. So I sent her a pizza. And that was
great friend.
If we're not gonna live that way, what are we doing, really?
Amen.
For real, and that was DoorDash. I apologize for the interruption. That was DoorDash going, I'm outside with your pizza. But
we love it.
It's in Chicago, so I can't personally open the door.
Wow, that's really cool. Right, Lauren? What were you gonna say?
You're a great friend to have. The kindness and the ease of levels of kindness often gets overlooked. Like, you can do more than you think you can, and I love you for doing it.
But if we're not here for that, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm a sincere believer in the theory, when we do well, I do well. It doesn't work if it's just me succeeding. I was at Discus 2 weeks ago in Austin, and I was on a panel talking about capitalization for craft brands, and I was on a stage with 3 people who hold purse strings who would not have financed me. And one of the things that I said was, there's got to be a better model for success than hoarding enough money to ride dick rockets into almost space. Like, what about paying your people a living wage? What about having, maternity leave? What about having health insurance?
Yeah.
Yes,
please. Thank you, sir.
So they own something and they're not just working for nothing all their lives. There are better ways of doing this. So again, like sending the pizza to a Facebook friend, that's the least I can do.
Totally.
If we can't figure out how to be here for each other, we've missed the point.
I'm all for raise all boats.
Raise all boats, right?
Get rid of the dick rockets.
I'm not even.
An almost space. The almost space was an under. That was a chef's kiss part of that comment. That was great.
I gotta go collect myself. I'm okay. I don't know.
Yes, Greg? You got something to say?
Dick rockets. Yeah. Doug, I'm speechless. You got to follow up. I don't.
Oh my God.
All right, Lauren, save us, because I don't know.
Lauren, the men have nothing to say. It's on you.
Yeah.
As
usual, we rely on the women.
I have so many words all the time and many questions. Less of a question, but I will. Oh no. Aaron.
Yes.
I'm very curious to know more about this band of yours.
Yes.
More of a comment. I appreciate I say this a lot, more people could benefit from adulting like a kid. And I feel like you kind of talked about that earlier of like, I don't know what I can't do. So I just did stuff until someone told me I couldn't. I failed a bunch of times and it's fine. Like, you're like, I want to use what I've got with my resources of your family and upbringing and what you know, and you brought your own chair to the table. Like, okay, I'll just create a liquor brand because this is what I want to do. And there's not an obvious way to do that. So I'm going to create a pathway for that. And I love that so much. And again, kind of like in an adjacent way, like kids on the playground are just like, let's all be friends. Like, look at this cool rock. And you're just like, I could buy you a pizza. Like, it's not that hard. Like, friendship and caring is not that hard. And I love all of that.
So I got to tell you, every now and then someone will ask me, like, how did I do stuff? And my answer is, I only get to do what I do because I stand in the sacrifices of everyone who came before me. There's a short story I wrote where I go to my ancestors and I tell them how hard life is and how terrible people are and what a terrible place the world is. And my ancestors laugh at me because my problems. Okay, so this guy thinks every Zoom is for him.
It's Bowie.
Never seen a camera he doesn't like.
Yep.
Come on, dude. It's all right. There's something very supervillain about having an all-white cat who wants to talk on every camera.
Can I tangent and ask you, which is more evil, cat? All white cat or naked hairless cat?
Naked hairless cat.
Oh,
is
yes.
evil.
Just checking.
Naked Bowie's not evil. But naked hairless cat, you can tell. Yeah.
They just know.
They look like balding old men, so that's how you know they look evil.
Thank you, Doug.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not at the bald stage. I'm just like, I'm losing all of it, so I just cut it off.
It's all good.
Yeah. So we got the Sorrel stuff, and I'm so glad we're able to discuss that. I think it's super important. Another thing I wanted to talk about was your activism. I love how much you stand up for folks across the board. And I think it ties a lot in with what you talked about with, if we can't be there for each other, how are we going to do anything? And, it would be easy as someone who's had a system that kind of stacked against them to kind of take a different road. How did you get to where you are to want to be an activist, to be part of the solution, so to speak?
So the year that I launched Sorrel was the year that Trayvon Martin was killed. And as someone who's seen people that look like me killed extrajudicially all my life, I couldn't help but notice as a new business owner that some of the people I was doing business with, some of the reaction to his murder was, there's an expression for it, super fucking racist. And I had a choice. The choice was, I can keep my mouth shut and make money, or I can open my fat yap and say something and risk losing money and business. And my thought process was, I can always make more money. I can't make more integrity. So I started writing and teaching about racism. And the funny thing about teaching about racism is you can't tell anyone don't be racist, because no one thinks they're racist. You have to tell people you must be actively anti-racist in a system that is inherently racist. And the fun part about that for me, the epiphany was, I didn't think of myself as sexist, but was I actually anti-sexist? And the answer was no. The answer was, while I might not have been actively sexist, I was passively benefiting from a system which advantaged me at the expense of women. And I was like, oh shit, I wonder where my other blind spots are. And it opens up the entire spectrum of power and oppression. I'm able-bodied. I'm heterosexual. For whatever good that's done me in my life. I'm cisgendered. I'm a natural citizen of this country. I'm English speaking. I've got tons and tons of privilege. It's incumbent on me to try to help out people who were differently disadvantaged. And I've had someone say to me, why are you spending your energy speaking up for the queer community, speaking up for women, speaking up for the disabled, speaking up for trans people, when we haven't solved the issues of the Black community yet? As if Black people aren't queer, or women, or trans, or Asian, or Jewish, or Latina, or any of those things. Like, if we stand up for all of us, we stand up for all of us. And there is nothing if we don't intersect it. Because if it's one thing if you suffer racism, but if you are a woman, then you've got racism and sexism. It's a force multiplier. If you're a trans woman, now you've got racism, sexism, and transphobia. It piles up. It piles up. And I can't walk through the world without an awareness of that. Like, we can do better than this. We can do better.
Absolutely. Lauren, follow up? Here you go. Let me toss that one over to you.
Let me just what have you got? I mean, like, I agree. That all is, I think many people, not all people, but many people would agree, like, that is an important thing of just your identity can mean so many things, and like it's not a checkbox. Like, it's not just like I'm just eating.
Right.
You are just like, oh, like whatever. But it's so much harder and scarier for people to like, well, if I can't solve the one thing, it's like too much stuff. And so that's super difficult. I personally have like dipped my toe a little bit in some of that work professionally lately. And it's so interesting too, where like you had said, you don't know your blind spots, right? And it's absolutely like, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't know until you think really hard about it or someone brings it up, because there's a lot of shit going on in our lives like on the daily. Like not to say that my life is more important than yours, but like we're all trying to get by, like have friends, family, job, pay for things.
Right.
So I mean, like I don't know to what level of activism you've been having, whether it's just conversations or that sort of thing, but any recommendations for people in how to self-reflect that way? It's a challenge, and it's hard. And anything that has helped you or helped you help others, anyone listening here, how do we do that? It's so hard.
Getting my own head out of my ass was the starting point. And acknowledging that you have your head up your ass is kind of a rough thing to do. I was raised in a culture that was homophobic. And I was raised in a culture that was misogynistic. And it is easy to cling to the values you were raised with instead of challenging them. But I see people update their iPhones once a week. Like, if you can update your iPhone, why can't you update your values?
Ooh.
Morals are a constant. People always know what is right and wrong. Values change. So what a society values changes around what the society thinks it needs to survive, right? So you go back a couple hundred years, and the founders of this country knew slavery was wrong. But they were like, well, we really need to make a lot of money right now. So we're just going to ignore that for a couple of centuries and see what happens. And we're still dealing with the fact that even though they knew it was wrong, they valued money over freedom, no matter what they said. We have to be willing to live up to our values. We have to be willing to value things more important than money. And we have to be able to take a step back and see at the end of the day, there's no separation. We're all trying to live our best life, whatever that looks like. And when we help each other, it's easier than when we fight against each other. And don't get me wrong, I'm competitive. And I want the best for me and the best for the people I care about. And I want everyone in my circle to do well. But not at the expense of anyone else. There's a theory that you can't. There's no such thing as a billionaire that's not evil. I don't buy that. I don't think Rihanna's evil. There's such a thing as being able to, like, Fawn Weaver has a different way of going through the world. Fawn Weaver is running arguably the most radically successful company in the liquor industry right now. But she's, again, not piling up money for a dick rocket. The first thing she did was go, my success is a credit not just to me, but a statement on what's wrong with the industry, and I'm going to fix it. And she took it on herself to start a $50 million fund to find businesses like mine and go, do you really have the stuff? Because if you do, I can put you in the room. So I want to live in a world where we're trying to make it better for everybody. And I start with myself. And Doug knows this. I I try to be as self-reflective as possible. There's always room for improvement. And every day I try to catch myself. I have made it a point to friend people who are, again, differently marginalized than myself. It's one thing to say, you know, trans rights, but do you have trans friends? It's one thing to say disabled rights, but do you have disabled friends? And I don't mean like, you know, one person that you can call, you know, your little Lincoln sitting in from Charlie Brown. I mean, do you actually have people who know that they are your people? I'm trying to extend myself. I'm trying to recognize that time is short. And we have an opportunity to make it better for anyone who comes after us. And if we're not doing that, what the fuck are we here for?
Amen.
Well said.
I have a long ass comment, but I think it's applicable here. So our friend Aaron Yalvaberg, yeah, I can't even right.
Yeah. Hey, you're in the bottom. Haha. You can see us.
Yes,
but,
it is exactly this. Plant trees that you might never sit under the shade of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Wow, I fucking love that
Exactly this.
too. Damn.
As a side note to yes, and this there's a side note of so often art, whatever that might mean, like writing, music, play, like whatever, dance, art speaks. I feel like art is pop culture and like oftentimes ahead of the game in the sense of what it can communicate or do or talk about. And Hamilton, the musical, has a lyric that probably comes from other things too, but it sticks with me because music does that in my head. But there's a lyric in one of the songs that talks about like a legacy is planting like the seeds that you don't get to see. And that's what that is, what it's all about. Like you got all progress is progress. You got to do a little bit of work and you might not see it now or in the next generation, but hopefully the next generation. And that's so hard, especially in the now of the instant gratification time we're in. And I feel like that in and of itself is a challenge, but do what you can do. And like Jackie, you said, start with yourself, right? Like if I can't help others, if I don't know what I'm about, right? That's just, I'm right, whatever my I is, but if I don't know what I am,
right,
what that means for the world around me, like I can't do more.
Right.
So you start with you and then neighbors, friends, and whoever, and hopefully it expands. But I love all of that.
Yeah, we have to get to a point where we value that which does not benefit us directly. We have to value that which, like, a life is a life is a life. There's no life that's worth any more than another. But if you only value lives you're connected to, your compassion is limited. You need to expand.
There is so like I am probably the most privileged person in this group because I'm also white and male and cis and straight and I got all those things and my blind spots are all over
and good looking.
Oh, well. All right, you're gonna make me blush and I don't do well with compliments, so let's move on. But the idea of like blind spots and like it's so easy to miss them. It's so easy to not realize, shit, I'm not paying attention to that. So as you mentioned, like I grew up in a culture that, like I grew up in rural Pennsylvania. Like talk about everything's, it's misogynistic, it's patriarchy, it's all that shit. And just racist as all get out. And I like to see myself as not in those realms, but guess what? I still have tendrils of patriarchy and all that, and it's hard to root those things out when they're kind of not so super obvious. And I always point to like seeing like, so my wife Joel like kind of pointed me out to a lot of the kind of not necessarily misogynistic, but more like, hey, you're not paying attention to this stuff. This is like me as a woman. This is what I go through.
Yes.
And I'm just like, honestly, I was a 40-year-old man and I didn't realize just the fucking everyday goddamn struggles that women go through just to be walking around, literally
Like
just walking around.
Period. Just to be. Period.
Yeah.
Just to be. And it's and I'm still learning that, and I'm trying to be open, but there's times where I just fucking miss the boat, and I don't mean to. I'm trying to be open, but there are times where I just, due to conditioning and upbringing and all that jazz, I just miss it, and I hate it. I fucking hate it.
That's fair and super real, and I think ties back to the thing with Jackie that you had. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I forgot the number, but you had mentioned 624 failures. Yep. Like like the fact that you like know that number and you're like, heck yeah, I messed up this many times. That's not normal in our society. No. And so, like, we're also scared of messing up.
But here's the thing. I figured I hadn't succeeded yet. I didn't think of it as failing
yet.
I just hadn't succeeded yet.
That's
I think
the
it's
big
important
thing.
to take that approach toward, especially when we're doing the work of making the world a better place. There's no failures. It's just success is a process.
Mm-hmm.
And we get them when we get there. And that's accepting the fact that we might not get there in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Love that. It's for all about, again, adult like a kid. We're learning. You're learning. You don't know how to do what you're trying to do, so you just like figured out one way that it didn't work. But yeah. I love that. But it is hard when it's like high stakes, scary topics.
I don't have the ability to be afraid. Before we did this show, a friend of mine said, "Do you want to watch a scary movie tonight?" I was like, "I'm a man who talks about my feelings. What's scary?"
That's scary all by itself on its own. Can be, right?
It's not that scary. It's not that scary.
No.
I listen, I'm gonna die. I've made peace with this. I know for a fact I am going to die. That's okay. What would not be okay was having my last thought as I die be, "Oh, geez, you fucked that up, guy." Mm-hmm. If I die tonight, and I'm not wishing it, I'm not hoping it, but if I die tonight, my last thought will be, "God damn, I hung out with some cool people, had some good drinks, talked about some stuff that mattered. It was okay. I had a good run." Mm-hmm. Every day like that. Every day in my life like that. So because you don't know when it's coming. But if it hits me suddenly, I will have died drinking with good friends, talking about shit that matters. That's winning.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I want to tie something in here that Lauren kind of skidded around the boundaries of it. Lauren does a lot of stuff talking about play as an adult. And I mean, not like play in a bedroom, like the concept of being open to not just being, here's my straight line. I got to go to my job. I got to pay my bills. I got to just doing all that fucking straight shit that we all think that's what you do. You march along and you're speaking to that in a completely, not in a completely different, but in the same sort of sense, just in a different approach. And, yeah. And I love that. I love the idea of just like, hey man, you got one go. What? Nobody knows what the hell happens after this. That some people will claim to know. I'm just saying nobody really, truly, absolutely knows. So why not make it the best run you can? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, Lauren. Was I a little too off on that? But I think you guys are kind of speaking the same language on that,
yeah,
right?
Like without me being like, I talk about play and curiosity, like without like really doing that exact parallel. Thank you, Doug. That's why I was like, everything you're saying, I was like, yes, do that. I love this. You're doing it. Just show up and like try something. Like, I want a day drink. You're like, that's not a job. How can I make this a job?
Now.
Now it's a job. Like, I love this. Like, that is like, I often encourage people, follow your curiosity, like whatever that might mean. Like, what are you interested in? If you're not interested, it's like kind of not worth it to some extent. Yes, we have to pay for things. We have to pay for stuff in this life. But can we do that in like the most interesting, fun way for ourselves possible? Right. And sometimes it's like this much requirement of like, I got to pay my bills, so I just need the job. But then what do you do outside of the job for yourself? So yes, I love everything you're saying without it being like, it's a play process. Like, it is a process. You're just kind of like, there's no right answer. Like, we're just figuring it out. Yeah. That's all anyone's doing. People think there's right answer, but very rarely is there ever actually a right answer. Maybe in math.
Even in math, there's only right up to what we know at the moment.
That is true.
If you go back 100 years, you know, we had Newtonian theory was law, was undisputable until Einstein went, actually, really. And Einstein blew up. And it's not the Newtonian law, it isn't still right, but Einstein is more right. And someone's going to come along after Einstein, it's going to be more right than him, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. We live in a world where if we're not figuring out how to be better versions of ourselves, we've missed the point. And that's all I want. I want to be a better version of me, and I want to be around people who are at least trying to be better versions of themselves.
This is true.
This is true. So, Greg
is back.
Chime in.
I got nothing. This is a good week for me to be off. I got nothing. My shit's gonna ruin all this, and I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to follow up. I don't even know how to. It's almost like you know, you ever listen to like one of your favorite songs or a song that's just really banging, and you're in your earphones and you're all like
in it,
and then the song goes off and you're like, I don't even know how to follow that up. Like, I just don't know. You know what I mean? There's no song that could be like played afterwards that's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where I'm at with all this. So like, it's just really, really great. And
I know how to follow it up with some more.
I'm just,
I think that's a good follow up.
I mean, right. You were just hitting all the points. And it's good that Lauren's here to really bail me and Doug out, because Doug and I aren't, let's just be real. We can't, I mean, we're good. I mean, we're fine,
Lauren, are your shoulders tired from carrying this whole thing?
You know, like, that's cool. It's cool. I'm here.
Right. We're about to sign Lauren to a long-term contract here in post-production. But like, that's another. That's a
free agent signing.
sorry, Casey. Sorry, brah. But we got to work on this. But
Casey,
no,
this
man.
Was not my intention.
No, I there's really nothing for me to say. Again, it's just Jackie, you're just, I don't know, man. I don't even know if the word heaven sent. I mean, we need more people like you in this world. Again, we need more people like you in this world, though, man. Especially your perspective on how you look at other people and how you deal with other people.
No, people need to be better versions of themselves. No one needs to be like me.
Yes, sir. And like, I just feel, Jackie, and Doug and I have talked about this. Since, I don't know, people don't like this word, but I use it, since the panty has started. I just feel we've gone the other way in this. We've been more separated. We've been more. So here's a great question for you. Since the panty started, I just think we've gone the wrong direction in this way. And I just think that like people are more selfish. People are more, excuse my language, assholish to each other. And maybe it was a separation, and maybe it's the mental health hit that we all took. Not just one or two or three of us. We all took mental hits, I believe. And I don't think that this society is ready to deal with that, because before the panty, we weren't ready to deal with mental health overall. So afterwards, I'm just struggling on how we come out of this together. We're all in this together. Nonsense. Sorry. Some of us are in it together, and some of us are over there acting a damn fool. So I'm not sure how we come out of this. What is your perspective on what I just said? And what is your perspective on? Again, we could be all better forms of ourselves, but how do we reach those people that
don't want to be?
How do you eat an
how
apple?
do we reach those people that I'll just leave that open and I'll just let you take it because you're way better with your words than me.
How do you eat an apple? Right, you take a bite out of it. It really is that easy. You're not going to be able to reach everybody, but you don't want to. A certain percentage of the population is just dedicated to being assholes. But if you take a bite out of an apple and another bite and another bite and another, sooner or later you got nothing but the core left. And you throw the core away.
Right.
Greg, you are speechless. All right, so let's migrate a little bit. Jackie poured himself some more Sorrel. Lauren, you have a second beer. Yes, let's look her up some more for more in-depth conversation.
The color of my beverage changed. I poured some because
Witchcraft.
I was thirsty while we were chatting. But I have an Elysian seasonal, seasonally appropriate Dark of the Moon pumpkin stout. And I drank some, sorry, so it's there. But it's dark and delicious, as I like. And I am not generally I feel like there's some pumpkin spectrum in beer for people is very like polarizing, it seems. I feel like I'm a weirdo who's in the middle, and I don't have like I hate, I love, like I'm just like, let me try it. I enjoy it. It doesn't feel super overpowering, but I feel like there's some spice notes that give me that vibe, so I'm into it. Doug, what you got? You got another beverage?
I have a dark beverage as well. Not a pumpkin beer, though.
That's okay.
Lauren, hold on, Doug, real quick. Lauren,
Sorry.
So are you into the pumpkin spice stuff just in general?
I'll say yes, but not aggressively in the sense of I'm not like the PSL pumpkin spice lattes first day, let me go get my star, but I'm not that level. But
Right.
Do I want a Costco-sized pumpkin pie? Yes. Do I need to share it? No.
Okay, so is that beer... How is that beer pumpkin spice wise? Because that's what Doug and I always go to. Is it high, low, medium? I
feel like it is not. Okay, hold on. I've been talking, so I've been less focused. I feel like it's a little. It's more on the medium vibe. On the nose, a little. You're like, oh, this feels like it's gonna be a good. It feels inviting, and then it's not immediate, but a little bit in the aftertaste spices. Mm-hmm. Okay. Which is, I think, why it's not like super pumpkin in your face. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly cinnamon or anything, but it's there. So I'm gonna go like medium lowish. I don't really know what punch you in the face looks like though.
Right. And Jackie, are you into the pumpkin spice fad? Because I don't even know if it's a fad. Trend. How about that?
Nah.
Okay. There are some of those close.
So here's the thing about pumpkin spice is it had literally cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and ginger.
All those things.
But no pumpkin.
True.
For years. I think pumpkin is maligned in a general sense. But if you ask me if I'm getting pumpkin pie or like sweet potato pie, sweet potato pie.
I mean,
Right. Don't let Doug answer. I'm gonna mute him. I'm gonna mute fucking Doug right now. Okay. So
I will not refuse pie generally. So yes, please.
I am with you on not refuting pie generally. All right. I'm a fucking Irish guy, Welsh, Scottish. I'm all those fucking. Give me all the potatoes, but sweet potatoes.
But see, this is great. See, we can disagree entirely on sweet potato pie versus pumpkin pie. We can't disagree on things like gay rights and trans rights and racism and sexism.
Well,
yes.
There's no disagreeing on that. There's right and wrong.
No, it's one thing to disagree on pies, another thing to disagree on human rights.
Right. Yeah. Jackie feels us, Doug, because again, we will food shame your ass right off the screen. We don't even care. Okay. But like, we're not. Right, like you said though, like those other issues are not. They're just not negotiable in this form. If you want it somewhere else, you can find it somewhere else. Not here. But if you talk about putting sugar in grits, Jackie,
we're
gonna have a problem.
That'll get you booted from the cookout permanently.
Right. And we had some crazy people. Thank you, Daniel Fisher. Get on this platform and talk about how they don't like gravy. So, again.
Oh, wait. Generally?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
As a whole category.
Just get rid of it all, they said.
Yo, you could put a straw in my gravy, make a soda out of it.
Jackie, let's be friends, because one time at a family gathering, it was like not a Thanksgiving gravy situation. It was like some other family gathering, and everyone's like, "Oh, the food's ready," and we all got our stuff. And then someone went, "Where's the gravy?" And they realized there was no gravy, and it was like alarm bells went off. Everyone came to the kitchen, like, "We have to fix this." Like, what? What do you mean no gravy?
That's the gravy. It's like the essential binding ingredient to every meal.
I do Thanksgiving dinner every year. I have for the last 25 years. But I will tell you right now, if people load up their plates and don't put gravy on stuff, I'm offended. Did you not see I have made the gravy? What is wrong with you?
It's homemade gravy too, right?
Yes, everything is homemade. Everything.
I have children who don't like gravy, and I'm wondering if I need to disown them at times.
Right, you might.
I have so many questions.
You're right.
We don't have to get into this now, but I have a lot of questions.
Right. Doug has another beer, but while Doug pours that, I'm gonna ask Jackie what an opinion. I want to know his unpopular food opinion is, because I know it's gonna. Right, Doug has 6 of them, and I've already heard of them too many times, and I don't want to hear anymore. But
Chicago pizza is lasagna.
What?
Wait, what?
Chicago pizza is lasagna.
You are correct, sir.
It's a freaking casserole.
It is not pizza.
It's
a pie. It's a pie. It's a lasagna pie.
It's not pizza.
If you can't, right. Go on, Doug. Wait, hold on. We're gonna get back to that.
No, Jackie is right, because as a New Yorker, if you can't fold your fucking pizza, that is not pizza.
That's right. That's casserole.
So that's a New York opinion, right? Is that what you're saying?
No. That's a correct assumption.
Oh,
you were asking the wrong group, Greg.
All right, so moving on. So this is something called Murmuration, which is a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout from Ohio, from Jackie O's, I believe. Jackie O's?
I was going to say the North.
No, this is one my brother-in-law got me from Ohio. Murmuration brewed and canned by Seventh Son is the name of the brewery out of Ohio. I love the can art. Murmuration is a fascinating natural thing. If you've ever seen it with birds doing that shit, it's awesome to watch. This is boozy. It's got all the bourbon notes right in it. Tastes exactly like what you fucking want out of a bourbon barrel aged stout.
Nice.
And for you, Jackie, this is one of my favorite glasses. So
yeah,
y'all see my shirt? It says
"Talk nerdy to me, baby."
I love it.
Solid shirt.
Love it. I got a football themed shirt on. Chub Hub.
Can I totally tangent because of Jackie's shirt?
Absolutely.
Oh, please go.
Okay, so talk nerdy to me. What are you nerdy about?
Everything.
Everything.
I know one. The Expanse.
I love The Expanse.
Greg, I'm going to ask you to share something I'm going to show here. Hold on. Because I saw this real time and I was super happy. Greg, if you can
researching. It's happening.
Remember this?
Oh
Jackie?
my goodness. She is so beautiful.
What is happening?
She is so she plays like the president of the UN, I think, kind of the president.
He's the president of Earth, basically.
Yeah, basically. And she is awesome. And Jackie's like, this is my celebrity crush. and she sent him a kissy face back, and I was like, "What?" I was so like jealous of you for that. And then you're like, "Now I can die happy" was like the line right after that.
That's a good level of nerd.
There it is.
I'm nerdy about all sorts of stuff, Lauren.
Okay. Choose some. Give me one or two.
Literature, science, comic books, the oceans, animals, the infinite of space.
Give me a good animal fact.
Yes.
A pig's orgasm lasts 30 minutes.
What? What happens if you give them Sorrel?
I don't know, because those fuckers don't deserve Sorrel. They're pigs.
They're really smart though, right? Aren't pigs super smart?
Yeah, I see. So here's an unpopular food opinion since it came up. Okay. I made a decision recently that I'm not vegan, but I don't eat anything with a brain stem. Octopuses ruined it for me because they're so freaking smart. I felt awful eating them. And then it's like, well, now how dumb does something need for me to be so I can justify eating it?
I mean, I don't want to go there, but if that's your barometer, there are humans that might end up on that option.
Lauren, I wrote a short story where two aliens are walking through the supermarket trying to figure what they want for dinner, and they're having an argument about whether or not they're going to get human because it's not decided whether or not humans are a sentient species.
Oh, it's funny and sad.
Did you ever read the story, Jackie? Did you ever read the story that's called "They're Made of Meat" by Terry Sisson?
Yes,
which is all about just like these aliens coming there, like, what? They made of meat, even their brains? Yeah. Well, fuck, we don't want to talk to those people. Get the fuck away from that planet. Right? That's like the whole premise of the story. It's like just great. Like we process things through meat, so they just thought we were completely idiotic, and they're not wrong.
Pigs are super smart, and delicious. And I understand that animals eat other animals, and I understand that if you are in a place that is ethically taking care of your animals, it's a viable food source. So I don't judge anybody. You eat what you got to eat to survive. I've got privilege. I can make a choice. I choose whenever I can not to eat anything with a brainstem. And I miss out on a lot of yummy food, truthfully.
On that note, I have several friends who are vegetarian except for bacon.
That's not vegetarian.
I know that's
they
like
did not understand the assignment.
Cue the music that we can't actually play.
No, we cannot. Hey, so Jackie, that leads me to a question then, because if you want to watch something on Netflix's, it's I'm trying to remember the full name of it. It's about funguses and mushrooms, and
yes, I watched that.
And mycelium and how that spreads. And you're just like, well, fuck, that stuff's way more intelligent than we are. What? Now I can't eat mushrooms. God damn it.
But everything's intelligent, but I'm like, I drew the line at brain stems. Because I gotta eat something.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, protein is something humans do need to eat, and you just have to find a way to eat it in some way, I guess.
Yeah.
So can we talk about what we're watching?
Yes.
Because we're already here. All right, good. All right, so I'll start because I'll be really fast. Viewers of the stream know I've been watching Breaking Bad. I finished that, and then I saw El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. A lot of people jumped in and said, "Oh my goodness, I never saw the movie, but I watched Breaking Bad." And I would say we got a cat drop here, but I would say that the movie is good. It's just like another Breaking Bad show. It's just like a continuation of that. It's good. It's not as good as the main show, but it's good if it's gonna, if you like Breaking Bad and you wanna. No spoilers here, but it was fun. One spoiler: there is Walter White makes an appearance. but it's not about him really. And at some point, I don't even know if it should be, because we got like 6 years of him being a fucking crazy nut. So we have that, and then we have one that I probably, I don't know, I probably do more looking for shows than actually watching shows, if that makes sense. And then loading up my queue, and then never watching these things ever again.
Yeah.
And
Netflix
also
is
too,
like having a fridge full of food you don't feel like fixing.
right.
Ugh.
And Doug is I wouldn't say Doug watches more TV than anybody else, but Doug always has these really good shows, these gems, and the way he talks about it makes me want to watch them. But sometimes I just get into it and I'm just like, damn, I should like this, and I don't. The Expanse is one of them. But no worries, I'm gonna get back to The Expanse. There's no question I'm gonna get back to it. But I started it and I just wasn't feeling it. But so last night I was going through my queue and I was looking for other things, and I ran up on this show, Mr. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And it reminded me, when I was a kid, I used to love this shit. So I went back and looked at a few of them, and I find that first of all, I find that it's very mild, actually, from what I like. It's a different kind of horror and suspense. But I also found, Doug, that I think that a lot of people have looked at Mr. Hitchcock stuff and just kind of expound on it and made it our, you know what I mean? There's so many Hitchcock things about a lot of our shows that we watch now. It's more, I would say more, it's more like an inspiration. There's a lot of artists out there now, music artists, say, man, Led Zeppelin really got me, or Black Sabbath, and you can hear that in their music. It's almost the same with Alfred Hitchcock, where some of these suspenseful things, it's like, oh, that was it was good, but it was mild. That wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? But I see his influence on today's
Yes.
or his influence on today's TV shows and stuff. So for that, it's a good show. It's on you can find it on Peacock, but you can also find it on what is it, Pluto TV, I think. So you can find it free, and you can find, if you don't have Peacock, which I think you have to pay for, you can find it free. Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and then there's also Alfred Hitchcock Hour. So you can find that too. I highly recommend it. It's old school, it's black and white. It puts you back at your youth, if that's what you checked. So I'm really happy about that. Who's next? Lauren.
Sure. What am I watching? Okay. Well, one that I feel let me caveat and say that there's a lot of content out there, and I am often behind. So I'm not always watching what's current.
You don't have to be. That's not what this is about.
Last year's, whatever.
Right. That's why it's good. Right, Doug? Right.
Totally. One of the quick things that I'll say that I finally have been able to, with a friend hookup of a password, I finally started watching Ted Lasso, and I love everything about it. We don't have to talk about it extensively. I feel like a lot of people have mentioned it online, in real life, on this stream, but I that's leadership, and I love everything about it. But also, one of the other long time coming things that I've avoided on accident, things that I've been up to, is I started a not full on Marvel, but Cliff's Notes version of an education. I did not necessarily grow up on the comics, but a friend, we were talking about all the Marvel movies and what was coming out at the time, and it's I haven't really seen any of them. I've seen a few. And they're like, oh, we should watch them. And they're a teacher, so they're like, we should do this in the summer. We're gonna watch them. We could watch it once a week, and we're gonna do a thing. And so, yes, Ted Lasso. I couldn't mentally commit to the full 20, whatever it's at now, 23, 24, 20 something things. But we went to Reddit and found several lists and options. I asked some Twitter friends. I was like, I think Victor and some other people commented that I should watch everything. I was like, I can't. But we did a abbreviated version because I wanted entertainment, and just because it's so in the pop culture that I felt like I was curious enough to find out about it. It wasn't like I was trying to avoid it. There's just so much out there. But we ended up with like 15 or 16 that we were actively watching together on a weekly-ish basis. And I'm almost at the end. We chose, for better or for worse, everybody argue with me if you need to, but we went with Marvel Universe chronological order versus release order. So we jumped around a little bit in terms of when the movies came out. And I had, again, we skipped some of them, but the one that I just recently watched was Thor Ragnarok, which is so entertaining.
So good.
And now we're at the end. The next ones we're watching are Infinity War and Endgame, and I'm so like excited and scared. And it's awesome, but it's also been in such a smashed together moment because they've been out, so I can watch them quickly.
Right.
And I panic a little bit when my friend's just like, okay, like, did you catch that reference? I was like, I feel like it's a test. Like, what did I miss? Because there's so much packed in there. Like, there's so many tie-throughs, and it's awesome. It's like, I've talked about how nothing against DC, but Marvel definitely feels like the kid that worked on the book report the whole time versus the one who did it the night before it was due. There's just so much. It's so good.
So Lauren, real quick, where can we find Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso's on Apple.
Okay.
TV Plus.
Okay. Great. And then where did you find the Marvel? Are they under one
Marvel stuff is
streaming, or are they all over the place?
Marvel's on Disney Plus, except for we did have to go outside of it, which is confusing to me, but I don't know. Whatever happened. We did watch Spider-Man Homecoming, and that one is not in the Disney Marvel universe, and we had to go pay for it somewhere separately from wherever I got it. But so if you have those streaming services,
right,
I would highly recommend these.
That's part of where we're at right now. So Jackie, what's going on? You have a couple you want to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, if you like Star Trek, you gotta check out Lower Decks. The problem with Star Trek is it's always been about what happens to the executive team, the captain and the first officer and the science, like all the top people, but the people who actually run the ship. Lower Decks is about the people who actually run the ship, and it is hilarious and so on brand for Star Trek. And people tend to sleep on cartoons. I fucking love cartoons. It's the best Star Trek in years.
And that is, I just looked it up, Paramount Plus.
Oh, no one has Paramount Plus. Nobody.
Right.
I'm not saying people should get Paramount Plus for Lower Decks. I'm also not saying don't torrent it, because that's illegal, obviously. So don't do illegal stuff. But find out how to watch Lower Decks. It's great.
Lower Decks
can I ask a question about that, real quick? Sorry.
Yeah.
Does it have, because there's like old school Star Trek, and then there's like
Jesus Christ,
school
everybody
Star Trek.
loves Lower Decks,
right?
But it's very much set in it's very much new Star Trek, but it has all of the references.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Here we go.
Okay, all right.
It is
right there.
Everybody in the comments are loving it, so it's clearly highly recommended.
And there's a million Star Wars animated series, so why not a Star Trek one? I think that's fucking awesome.
Right. It only makes sense, Doug. Jackie, what else? You got something else, right?
Obviously Ted Lasso. But you know what else I really liked? I really liked the Marvel What If series. That was fun.
And
Lauren didn't like it.
I didn't get into. I was like, I haven't gotten into it. I was like, I don't even know what the premise of those are, because I needed the basis foundation. Yeah. So I have not dove. Why can't I don't know? I have not gotten into the.
You've had beer.
It's fine, everybody. The Loki and WandaVision. Like, I haven't done any of those. I've just committed to movies first, so I have an idea of what anybody's talking about.
Right.
So I have not gone into What If, but I have heard good things.
I really liked it.
Darren chimes in here about the DC movies.
You are wrong, Darren, on one account. One.
Which one?
Say what's up, Doug?
The Dark Knight is the best superhero movie.
Oh, Dark Knight is DC?
I'm sorry, best superhero movie of all of them?
Yeah, but the Dark Knight's not part of the DCEU.
That's true. That's true. But The Dark Knight is my favorite superhero movie of all time.
The Dark Knight is killer.
Loved it. But
Right.
the DCEU sucks.
Yes, it does. That is that, and even though that is like not quite in the whole thing, but The Dark Knight is, and what's funny is like so my oldest, who's 20, said that Bruce Wayne's just a rich kid who has toys, and I was like, "You're not wrong. Dark Knight's still better."
Like
You're not wrong.
If we're gonna have an honest conversation about Bruce Wayne, yo, dude, pay your taxes, man. You can do more good for Gotham City if you just pay your taxes, dude. Because you cannot tell me that he has all this money. He's spending billions of dollars. How much money is he hiding to be Batman? Pay your taxes.
He lives in a cave. Come on. Hashtag reality. Pay your taxes.
Just pay your taxes.
Right. So, Jackie, we covered all the ones you want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Doug wants to talk about something that just came out and everybody's talking about it. What's up, Doug?
But before I do that, Lauren, I have one question for you. Out of the things you've seen from the MCU, what is the one you like the most? If you have one that you say is the best out of all of them.
Okay. So where my brain goes with that today in this moment after beer.
Sure.
This might change tomorrow. Where I go with that is I feel like judging those, because it's about the whole thing, I go with more ensemble-y movies versus like the singular side stories
like
or origin stories
and all that. Yeah.
And so far, again, I have not currently actively watched Infinity War or Endgame yet. Those are next. But I think it's a struggle, but like the Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War for different reasons, because okay, in Winter Soldier, I was just like on the edge of my seat, was not concerned about how much time had passed, and was just like, what is happening? Oh my God, wait, she's in this? And it's like so many things kind of starting. It was like the turning of the tables a little bit. But then Civil War comes in with like feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going deep in some ways. And I don't think this I don't remember if that was one of those. But yes, there's just like there's like a deeper thing happening in that one. So like they're kind of great in different ways, but those ones stick out the most to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Winter Soldier, if I'm going to pick an MCU, and I've seen almost all of them, the Hulk movies, I'm not kind of out on
nobody. Okay, the Hulk movies on the Reddit list, the Hulk movies made 0 lists except for the ones that talk about all the origin stories.
They're making a new Hulk movie, like a Hulk only movie.
With
2024, it's coming out.
2024.
It takes time to make a movie.
I mean, all right.
I'm with Lauren. I don't have patience for this shit. Dog.
We'll forget.
So what I'm going to go with is something that I've actually have never read the book, but it is Dune. I watched that, and it's like 2.5 hours long, and I watched it on my TV. It's amazing on my TV. Everybody says you should watch that shit on a movie screen because just the visual effects of it are just way better than what you can get on a TV. My TV is not a super current TV, so I'm debating going to see that. I will tell you, Zendaya is in the movie, and they put her in all the promos. She's in it for like 10 fucking minutes. So just understand that if you're going to see it, she's in it for a fraction of it, and it is at the end.
Like Paul Atreides dreams of Zendaya. Dude, you're not special. We all dream of Zendaya. Like what?
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Oh, JG, that is great. I wish I could see it on IMAX. We don't have an IMAX here, but yeah, and it is visually stunning. And Oscar Isaac, who's not in it very much, I saw somebody posit that they made Jason Momoa shave his beard so he would thirst trap for Oscar Isaac, and that shit worked because Oscar Isaac's the hot guy. That was just a guy on the screen. I'm a straight guy, and that guy is really hot. But anyway,
Appreciate that about you.
He's hot.
But now my wife would dispute that and say Jason Momoa is far superior. But hey,
I was talking about Momoa. He's hot. Yeah,
he is. But
he should always be scruffy. He should never be.
He should always be scruffy. You're right. When he's clean shaven, that shit don't look right.
Like Vito Morganson should always be scruffy.
Yes.
Never clean him up.
No, let him look a little rough.
Yeah,
that's the best way he looks.
He's got that homeless sexy.
Homeless sexy.
Oh, if this Momoa was on the street looking all scruffy and asking for $5, somebody would take him home and give him a meal.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It would. But if he was clean, it'd be like, get a job, homeless guy.
Also, Jason,
Josh, he'd be all right.
Yeah, Josh Brolin's in this for a bit. That guy's like 60 fucking years old. I'm 10 years younger than him, and I couldn't look like that guy if I trained for 50 years. Like, he looks great.
Yeah, he could. Guarantee you could.
You're getting homeless sexy.
That's the new trend, everybody. We've started it now. We're trends.
Hey, wait. We've already been through this. You know where? Zoolander. Derelict.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They foresaw this.
They foresaw this.
I'm going to tell you, though, I would highly recommend that movie, even just for the visual. Some movies, you watch it just for how it looks. That's not that there is some substance to it. They're going to make another one, which I'm glad because they left it at a point where just nobody knew what the fuck was going on. So, yeah, I think you should watch it.
HBO Max, right?
HBO Max for that, or go to movie theaters and the movie theaters, too.
Right. Yeah. HBO Max, I shared with y'all earlier. HBO Max is what I'm about to order. Like really soon. I found a 25. Sometimes I'm just such a cheapskate. I found a $25 coupon, so I'm gonna jump in. Greg,
can I recommend something on that show, on that channel that you would?
You've already have like 6 of them. That's the reason why I'm even looking at it. But give me another one.
Watch the 5-episode show Chernobyl.
Oh, okay.
You will be completely fucked up about how close we were to complete disaster with Chernobyl. And I mean global disaster kind of shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Chernobyl's on the other side of the world, right? So I feel you.
Yeah. But anyway, that was awesome.
Man, HBO Max. I mean, they're doing a lot of really good things in it. Like I have all the other ones, Jackie. I got Paramount. I got Peacock. I got Amazon Prime. I got Netflix. I got Hulu. Disney Plus.
Hulu.
I mean, what else do I need? So I need HBO Max. Hulu. Right. Go on, Jackie.
Gotta have Hulu too.
I don't have Hulu.
Now that's a major one.
Archer season 12.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about Archer. That's your thing, Jackie.
Y'all, I'm telling you, y'all already killing me because now I'm already on HBO Max. Now I got to get fucking Hulu.
So much
Jesus
content.
Christmas.
So much
Jackie,
content.
While we're here, Jackie, talk about Archer.
So I got to tell you, without spoiling it, they dealt with the fact that one of the principal voice actors died in a way that was just incredibly thoughtful and poignant, and they gave her a good send-off.
Wow.
Really worth the last episode surprised me. And I thought they were out of material, and they're clearly not. I like the direction it's going to go. I cannot wait for the next season. I cannot wait.
Wow. And that's what season what?
Season 12.
Damn.
Yo, it's been on, right?
That's hard. That's hard to continue with quality.
Yes.
Yes. This is why I no longer count.
Yes.
This is why I no longer count my years.
Lauren.
I don't count years. Lauren. I count seasons. I'm in season 213. Haven't been canceled yet.
What's amazing is you notice some of the most long series that run are like The Simpsons, South Park,
Yes.
Archer, like all these animated series run fucking ever.
I mean, that help. Honestly, I feel like, does that help because you're not tied to how people potentially age? And also, like, there's so much satire in it. Like, you can satire the shit out of everything.
And everything is a satire on current events.
Yeah. That helps, man.
But some shit is just so crazy that it can only go so far. Now, I'm not going to speak for GOT because I'd never seen it, but that's part of the reason why I'm jumping into HBO Max, Doug, is because I want to. It's up on my thing. But like, I learned this with Breaking Bad. That shit is so fucking crazy that 6 or 8 or 9, if they would have went further than they went, it would have got to the point to where it was completely unrealistic. There are parts where I was like, this shit's kind of crazy. I don't even know if I believe this, but they were able to hold it together in order to make 6 seasons or 5 seasons, one in like a 6. The 5th season was like 2 parts or whatever. And then they made a movie. And then I don't count the prequel. I haven't seen it. I don't count that because it's a different thing. But like Breaking Bad would have been horrible if they would have went any further, in my personal opinion. Because not horrible, but it would have ruined what came before. Because again, it's just so crazy and intense. You only have a bracket of time. Where The Simpsons, like y'all said, is like a satire of life. So that shit could just go on forever, in my opinion. Because we as people, especially in America here, give so much content. Like South Park's another one. I stopped watching South Park year 7. It's in year 25 now, and or whatever, or something. Like, don't hold me to that, Lauren. It's something crazy though, like 18 or you know what I mean. And they signed on for another like 6 or 7 or 8 or some shit when they just did their latest redo. My point is that like it's such a satire of life, they could just keep going. Yeah. And like, you know what I mean.
I was like, I see JHG with this, like, isn't that ageism? I was like, well, yeah, but no, but because like Simpsons, Maggie could be a baby forever. Like, you can't do that with real humans.
Right. One of my other favorites is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it's just the same thing. Like, they satire real life. So then that could keep going. Like, it could really, I don't know if you ever seen it. Seinfeld's another one. Like, they cut that one. I never seen, I saw one episode of Seinfeld, but what I know about it is that like, it's about nothing. So like, you could do that if you want, like a show about nothing you can do forever. But if you're in an intense, like was it Doug last week or somebody last week was screaming and hollering about Lost and how awful the ending was. But Lost is another one, in my opinion. It had to have like I've never seen it, but what I know about it is it had to have like a short time period, like 6 or 7 years, or otherwise you were going to lose the audience. And apparently they lost the audience in the season premiere or the season finale. So
I'm gonna caveat to the Lost thing real quick. And the thing is that came at a time when people didn't have a gazillion fucking options,
or people weren't binging either.
And it was must-see TV. It's here at this time, this day. Everybody fucking watches it. Game of Thrones was like that at the beginning. And then, people started getting more options. And Darren, you're right. It went a few too many, but they had to. The problem is they had to resolve things, and they strung things out a bit too long. And they should have done about 5 or 6 seasons. That should have been all they did. And I'm going to tell you, the first 6 seasons were astoundingly fucking good. The last 2 seasons were not great, but like I'm also not a person who thinks the last 2 seasons were just shit. But that's my opinion. A lot of people thought it was shit, and yeah.
So
and
Jackie,
Aaron's right. Aaron's right. It is, some of the acting in that is just fucking superb. Like I don't know how to explain it.
But I haven't committed yet.
Jackie, I got 2 questions for you. And we won't hold you any longer because you're a gem, and we actually want you to come back, so we don't want to ruin it.
Hell yes.
But so Jackie, you were not jumping on me, but I'll just say it just for the conversation. You jumped on me because I wasn't on Hulu. So how many of these streaming? But I saw you nodding your head when I was like, I'm on all these. How many streaming services are you on?
I'll tell you right now. Hold on a sec.
Let me pull up the credit card statement.
Right.
Netflix.
Okay.
Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney, Apple TV, Adult Swim,
Oh, I don't know.
Peacock.
Paramount. You got Paramount too in there.
I don't got Paramount.
Oh,
remember, he did a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't watch that outside of Paramount. But watch that outside of Paramount if you can. But don't do it illegally.
right.
Find a friend.
The one I wanted to ask. Now I got all y'all streaming people here. I want to ask one more question. All y'all. The one that is kind of intriguing me. I think it's on Paramount or it's one of these that I have is The Stand with Whoopi Goldberg. Anybody see that one? It's a mini series made off of Stephen King. The Stand.
Yeah, and I watched some of that and not great.
Right. Okay. Cool.
The Stand is a hard thing to translate into TV.
Anything that Stephen King does, I am skeptical about watching because I don't know how that shit translates. Now, again, I liked Misery. I read the book before I saw the movie, and then I was underwhelmed with the movie, but it was pretty good. It wasn't remotely as close to the book. So I'm skeptical of any kind of Stephen King. I never saw it yet. Should I?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The first did. The second one, not so much. The first one, yeah.
All right. JC says it stands on Paramount Plus, but Doug says if Doug didn't finish it, wow, I don't know if I'm going to.
Don't take me as the harbinger of all that.
I do though. I do.
I don't know shit. I know what I like. Do. That's it.
I do. Darren says that too. And you know what though? Like, real quick.
What is
I thought that all these streaming things,
I never heard of that either, Jackie.
Jackie, I thought all these streaming things would lead us to a place where like we would have a la carte, meaning everybody used to bitch about cable being too high. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but I was like, look, if we like all these streaming places, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then if I look at my monthly statements,
why would you do that?
Right. Well, actually, Jackie, I don't, because you know what I do? I just buy the fucking year. Like, I'm in a house with like, 2 teenage kids. The lady does not watch TV. She'll binge a couple things, but she's not a TV watcher. But the boys are, and I'm like, man, I thought cable was going to be, cheaper, and it just adds up. But at the end of the day, it's just about entertainment, and it's just about. This is how I justified HBO. I was like, oh, so I can get a whole year for $150. I got a $25 coupon. That's $125, and if I divide
that's like going to the movies twice,
right? But if I and even better, Doug, if I divide that by 12, it's only $10 a month, and then if I divide that by 4, it's like $3 a week. Fuck it. We're going to buy it. Fuck it.
Hey, even better. You know what's even better about HBO Max? You get all the DC Universe movies, all of them.
No, I want that one that
Wait. Hey, I got to say this to DC though. The animation's great.
Yes, for sure.
The animation is great.
Their animation stuff is awesome. Their movies, live action stuff.
Terrible.
Outside of the Dark Knight, no thanks.
Doug, Mallory O'Mara was the one who put it over the top. HBO Max for me. What is that one that she said? Doom. The one about superheroes, and she's like, I don't even like superheroes, but this show. And then her boyfriend wrote.
Was it the What If? No, that's not on HBO.
No, it was another one. My point is that it was 2 weeks ago. She put me over the top.
It's the Eternals.
Something.
The Eternals is supposedly great. I have not had a chance to watch that, but I've heard that awesome things about that.
Right. And Daniel says the new Dexter. I love Dexter from old school. So Doug, no.
The
ending of Dexter sucked. That's another show that should have stopped.
First 2 seasons, yes.
No, I think it should have stopped after the 4th season. The 4th season was Lithgow, right?
Right. It went a season too long.
And then it went several seasons after that. So yeah, that went way too long.
Greg blocked that from his memory.
I thought that was just a great series, and then it just kind of just went.
It went off. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll watch it just because of nostalgia. So Jackie, listen, if we don't let you go now, we'll be another hour or 3 or 6. So we'd rather let you go and then have you back. It's just fabulous that we were able to get Lauren on the same time as you. The dynamic was amazing, but you're amazing. But I'm going to tee you up for the last question that we all have, which is there anything we missed that you want to talk about? Is there anything that we didn't touch? Is there anything that you want to part with? We know about Sorrel, and we love it.
Let's see more of it.
We want more of it. In fact, we need to have you back once it gets off pre-order. Anything else? What you got?
I need everyone to have a drink ready for this. Everyone got something they can drink?
Will.
There is a toast in my family. It's been around for generations. I do not know how far it goes back. It is call and response. One person says, "May you live forever," and the other person says, "May you never die." And I gave this toast for years and didn't understand it because no one lives forever and everyone dies. And then I started working on this stuff, and I realized it's not about how long you live. It's about, did you live a life worth telling stories about for centuries? Did you live a life that's going to outlive you? In that sense, like, and Doug gets this, like, writers, you write a good story, you're around for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
May you live forever.
May you never die.
May you never die.
Cheers. Now I gotta write a book.
Or make an alcohol. That's also possible, Greg. That's the other option.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Jackie,
thank you.
It's been
I had a
beyond
blast.
A pleasure. It's been beyond a pleasure.
I had a blast.
Thanks, Jackie, man. Awesome.
Right.
Thanks for
I
being
can't
here,
say
brother.
enough. Yeah, thank you for coming. Doug, thanks for another fabulous guest. Lauren, thanks for we'll thank you later, Lauren. We just gotta let Jackie go.
That's
But
fine. It's all about Jackie.
Let me know. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Jackie, if you want to stick around for some post-production craziness, you're more than welcome. Just hang out in the green room there. Unfortunately, we didn't have any alcohol or food for you, but we figure you supply that. But we will talk to you soon if you want to stick around. If not, we will hit you up soon so you can be back on.
I'm gonna stick around. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Peace.
Love it. Peace.
Sorry, that was my 14-year-old give me a hug. So
I don't care. I
Never
was talking
say no.
to Jackie. I didn't even see you. I was just focusing on Jackie, and he's just an amazing guy, Doug. Thank you again. Any post Jackie comments before we get to what we got to get to and get out of here?
What do you say about that? That was just awesome. Like, seriously, Lauren, what do you have to say? Because I'm just
right. I didn't have anything to say the whole time, so that's why it was good that I got off. Jeez.
I'm mostly just like so happy that he seems like he's living it. He had the moment of like whatever corporate thing, and then you have your wake up call, right? And like hopefully not everyone needs the wake up call at that level, but he's just like, I'm gonna do me and do what I want and try some stuff and see what happens and help other people and just be good for goodness sake to some extent. And I love it and I'm here for it. And let's be friends. And that's what I'm
right.
He's so cool.
Right. Let's be friends. I love that. So I mentioned her before. I'm going to mention her now because she's badass, she's fun, and she's fantastic. That will be our friend Mallory O'Mara. Her book Girly Drinks, I believe, dropped, right, Doug?
Yes, that dropped this past week. I have it, and I can't remember where the hell I put it.
And and I have mine too. But she ended up being profiled on CNN, and I think that's fantastic and great. And she completely deserves it, and it's highly recommended. Doug, I believe, has read most of it. I read some of it.
I read the whole thing.
Okay, right. It's highly recommended by all of us. I don't know, Lauren, if you saw that episode, but we talked about how she did, she's like Jackie. She found something that again wasn't out there. And she's like, I'm gonna make that. And she did, and she's on CNN now. She's just great, and hopefully we can have her back and her boyfriend, and we can talk about Scotch. But she's just fantastic. Lauren, you have anything?
No, I did see that show. It was great.
That was great.
I know. I was like, got anything? I'm now Mallory.
Right. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
No, she seems super dope. I love that she was like, I'm gonna do my research and like make this a great book. And I don't own it. I'm trying to not buy books until I finish more of what I have. It's a challenge because I know those are two separate.
You'll never do that.
I know. They're two totally separate things, like buying and reading. But I'm trying to manage myself a little. But that sounds like such an awesome book. And if nothing else, I'm purchasing that for other people as gifts. Right. So it's I'll borrow it from them eventually. Right.
And I may actually buy her book and then give. What I like to do too is when I find a really good book, Lauren, and we've had people who have had books and I just want to get them. And so they don't stay in my house. I like to donate them to those little libraries that they have in the and actually the lady and I have gotten into. Doug laughs about this, but we've gotten into trolling. So what we'll do is we'll buy like books that we Lauren's like, what's going on?
What do you mean?
We buy books that we know that are going to like troll people, and then we insert them in places like. So then, long story short, there's a place here called Waunakee, Wisconsin. Okay. But don't blame me for this. Do not blame me. There's a place called Waunakee here, and what the locals call it, they call it Whitekey because it's so white, and like so they call it Whitekey. Again, negative connotation, but to me, it ain't bad. It's just a whole bunch of white people live there.
The label.
The thing is, though, so we'll buy books like Barack Obama's book or Michelle Obama's book, and then place them into the little libraries like that are there.
Good trolling.
So right. But the one that we've done lately recently is Little Nas X's book, and we buy that and then we stick it in. So we are supporting Little Nas X because we Little Nas X in our family is like. There's one of these things that everybody loves is Little Nas X. Just I don't really like his music that much, to be honest with you. I mean, I do, but I like more about what he presents and what he's about and who he is. So we put Little Nas X book or Michelle Obama's book, and then we'll stick it in a little library, and then people can.
Here's what I'll say to that. It's like, okay, I feel again, good trolling feels not great. Good, that's like good trolling though, because it's like in the sense of supporting artists, whoever they are, authors at this point, and to circle all the way, rewind back, you don't know what you don't know, right? So you're just presenting them with some information. I think that's
right. Right.
I think good behavior, and you are right, Aaron.
Yes.
Good.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. Right fragility. That's good. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Greg is taking suggestions.
I have many real. I have not many. I have definitely a few good friends who live in quote Whitekey. I drive through there a lot. I buy business stuff there. There's two good breweries there. Actually, one of them, Doug, is Untitled Art. Is in Waunakee. Look on the side of it. It says Waunakee, Wisconsin. That's where Untitled Art comes from. So no, there's no disparaging, but at the same time, we all need to, expound our horizons. How about that?
That's a fair point.
Right. So I have one more thing. Lauren, as you know, this is the time that we review our beers. So ladies first.
Okay. I had these. This is not going to go well. Let's see if I can line these up before I do this. I had, which one is which?
You had a pumpkin beer.
And a wild ale. They're super different. And this is like cheating, but I feel like I can't rank them. But this one is super refreshing.
No cheating. Yeah.
Super refreshing. Very tasty. Yeah. Tart, not sour. Solid for early in the evening. This is seasonal and dark, like I love. Very easy to drink. I was very happy.
And we were happy that you joined us. Doug?
Thank you for having me.
So I am gonna start with 1A, 2A, 2B. So this was the dark berry sour, which was a really good tart beer, along with the Merry Monkey. I love Golden Monkey. Christmas beers are really tricky for me. They're both about the same, just different. They're different things. Like the one is definitely for Christmas. The other one is more summery, like this dark sour one. That is definitely something for summer. I don't know why they released it now, but whatever. The best thing I had was this, the Murmuration barrel aged Imperial Stout. That was fucking awesome. I could drink a lot of that. I only have one, so I'm sad, but it was good.
All right, and mine were these two, sour ale and for Jackie I bought this, or I made sure
Caribbean
we had this
amphibian.
Caribbean amphibian. So yes, these are great. Both vastly different, but fun. And they're both Fresh Fest / Barrel and Flow beers. So that's great. And as I advertised, I finished both, even though I said I wasn't going to. So it's been fantastic. Next week we are joined by Wrong Promo.
Way to go, Greg.
Yeah, well, we are joined by our friend John Kinnear, who we've met at Dad 2.0. Lauren, you know John?
I don't know if we've had actual conversations, but I know of him, and I feel like I've maybe. Seems like
yes. Yep. Yes, everybody loves Lauren, and everybody should, damn it.
Hi, friends.
Anyway, but he's another Dad 2 alum. He hails out of Utah, so that'll be a conversation that I'm really interested in, and it's gonna be fun. Doug, any parting? I'm sorry, Lauren, any parting words?
This was really fun and a great way to spend my Friday. That's all I've got.
Excellent, and you'll be back as a co-host because now that you're a co-host, we can't just demote you to guest anymore.
Mm-hmm. Be careful what you wish for, Lauren. Yeah.
Right. Like my rehab lady told me, or I told her, I was like, the more I do, the more you're gonna expect. So I'm worried about what the hell's gonna happen here. So
that is my constant problem.
Yes, the more you do, the more we expect. So thanks, JHG. We can blame Doug. Yes, you were a co-host, but you're gonna go back to guest. Sorry. Not you, Lauren. JHG. Sorry, Doug, any last shots here? Thanks for booking another fabulous guest, sir.
Listen, Jackie was someone I wanted to book on here a while, and that exceeded all expectations. That was fucking awesome.
Yes. And Doug, I'm telling you, you hit 100% on all your guests. As I do too, but you really knock it, dude. You really. So, love you both. See you soon.
Love you too. Take care.